Today I will be explaining about the concept of Musharakah. Musharakah comes from the word of shirkah, which means shares. Shirkah has a general wide meaning, while Musharakah has a limitation in it. So shirkah is divided into two, which is shirkatul al-milk and shirkatul al-aqdu. Shirkatul al-milk means joint ownership, which divided into two, optional and compulsory. Optional, it comes to the operation of options of the buyer and seller itself, and the compulsory usually comes in the circumstances of inheritance. Shirkatu al-Aqdu, which is this joint enterprise, had three divisions in it, which the first type is Shirkatu al-Aqdu, Shirkatu al-Amal, and Shirkatu al-Wujuh. Shirkatu al-Aqdu and Shirkatu al-Amal is categorized under Musharakah, and not all of the type given is the Musharakah. So shirkah has a general meaning and musharakah has a limitation in it. So musharakah only have two categories, which is shirkatu al-aqdu and shirkatu al-amal.
Distribution of profit must be agreed upon at the beginning of the contract and should be based on the actual profits of the business rather than the capital invested by each partner. Fixed lump sum payments are generally not permitted unless they are specified as on-account payment, which are adjusted at the contract's end. If the business does not generate the expected profit, any amounts drawn by the partners must be returned. This ensures that the profit distribution remains fair and reflective of the business' actual performance. Secondly, the ratio of profit requires careful consideration. Scholars have different views on whether the profit ratio must align with the capital investment ratio. Imam Malik and Imam Shafi'i agree that the profit must match the investment ratio for a valid musharakah. In contrast, Imam Hanbali and Imam Hanafi believe that the profit ratio can differ from the investment ratio if agreed upon by the partners. An important exception for this is sleeping partners, who provide capital but do not participate in managing the business. Their profit cannot exceed their investment ratio. This ensures that passive investors do not unfairly benefit from the business success.
In Islamic finance, the sharing of profit and loss is a fundamental principle governed by various interpretations among Muslim jurists. This concept of profit and loss sharing in Islamic finance emphasizes fairness and risk sharing between business partners. According to Imam Shafi'i, profit and loss must strictly adhere to the ratio of each partner's investment, ensuring equitable distribution of both gains and losses. In contrast, Imam Hanafi and Imam Hanbali allow for flexibility in profit distribution based on mutual agreement between partners. However, they maintain that losses should always be proportionate to initial investment. These principles are integral in modern Islamic finance, where contracts are structured to ensure that profits are shared based on agreement, while losses are borne proportionally to investment. This famous maxim guides business dealings under Islamic law, highlighting the balance between partnership, agreements, and risk management. Whether following the stringent approach of Imam Shafi'i or more flexible stance of Imam Hanafi and Imam Hanbali, this principle of profit and loss sharing underscore Islamic finance's commitment to fairness and shared responsibilities.
Muslim scholars generally believe that in a musharakah, each partner should contribute capital in the form of cash rather than commodities. However, there are differing opinions among jurists. Imam Malik, he argues that it is not necessary for the capital to be in liquid form for a musharakah to be valid. He believes that partners can contribute goods with their market value at the time of the agreement. Some Hanbali scholars share these views. Imam Abu Hanifah and Imam Ahmad, they contend that no contribution in goods should be allowed. They argue that each partner's goods are always separate, making it difficult to distinguish one partner's share capital from another's. Monies being indistinguishable forms a common pool, thus facilitating the partnership. They also highlight that redistributing capital becomes problematic with goods, especially if they have been sold or their value has decreased. Imam Ash-Shafi'i, he offers a middle ground. He suggests that goods can be contributed to a musharakah, but distinguishes between two types of goods. The first one, dawat ul amthal, goods like wheat or rice that can be compensated by quality. and quantity if destroyed, and dawat ul qimah, goods like cattle that cannot be easily compensated. According to him, only dawat ul amthal may be contributed as share capital, while dawat ul qimah cannot. In conclusion, contributing to a musharakah share capital can be in the form of cash or certain types of commodity, with the partner's capital share determined by the market value of the goods at the time of the contribution.
So we're going to management of musharakah first. So there is a general principle that has been laid down, and it has stated that each of the contracting parties have the right to manage the business. But in the same time, both of the parties have to follow the terms and conditions that has been agreed upon. However, there's mention about a sleeping partner, which sleeping partner meant by a person who provides some of the capital for a business but do not take any active involvement in managing the business. So for the sleeping partner, they are also entitled to the extent of their own investment ratio and to be allocated to him to not exceeding his own ratio of investment. But there is an exception for this, where if the other parties agree upon a joint venture's business, then each of the parties have to be treated as a valid agent or partners in any matters of the business by having their own discretionary power in authorizing any matters. So there is 4 ways to terminate a musharakah. The first one is each of the contracting parties have the right to terminate the musharakah at any time after giving a notice. The second one is the death of the contracting parties. The third one is the insanity of a partners. And the fourth one is without closing a business which by a mutual agreement by both of the parties. In addition, this method is expressly permitted by some of the Hanbali jurists. Hence, this condition also can be justified as in modern situations for the ground of nature of business require the business to be continuity of a success.